at this part on Off the Podium, I sit here and give a massive introduction going over all of my guests' achievements that they have had across their career. But if I did that today, we'd be here for the entire interview. So I'm just going to simply start off by saying, joining us today, it is an honour to welcome the greatest New Zealand Olympian of all time, Lisa Carrington. Lisa, welcome to Off the Podium.
Thank you. It's nice to be talking to you.
It's an absolute honour to have you on the show. I actually should have started off by saying Dame Lisa Carrington, because you are the very first Dame we've had on this show. I don't even know what that means, Lisa. I don't do I need to treat you differently? Do I need to play special music? Like, what are the rules about interviewing a Dame? I've never had this before.
Yes. I mean, it is, I guess being a part of the Commonwealth, and we have a version of, the Dame and the knighthood. So I guess it's just a recognition of my contribution to sport. And so a few people decided that they'd like to award me a damehood, which was really nice. But yeah, it's just Lisa, so that's good. Just
Lisa. We got rid of that in Australia years ago, so I never have to worry about that here. Is that the same like with the knighthood? Do you have to go to the king or the queen and get like a little the spire on your shoulders? Like, is that a thing you have to do?
Well, in New Zealand, we have our Governor General does it,
right?
And they will knight the men, but not the women.
Oh,
yes, but so in New Zealand, they came up with a tradition. We have a traditional cloak, which is part of our Māori culture.
Yep.
And so instead of a knighthood, we get to wear a cloak, which has lots of feathers of our native birds and things like that on it. So that's kind of a really special part for us.
We are going to get to talk about your career here, Lisa, but it's interesting you say that because we do a lot of we go over a lot of classic opening ceremonies here on the show. And, we're going all the way back to the 70s, right up to modern opening ceremonies. And every time we talk about New Zealand coming out, we always comment on the cloak because the flag bearers are always wearing the cloaks. And we sort of always assume that that's part of Maori culture and sort of it's a significance there. But you've just cleared that up for us, what that actually is. So you've inadvertently answered a question we've had on this show for quite some time. That's what you get when you ask a question about being a Dane. Wow, look at that. Skilled. I love that. I want to go back to January of this year in 2025 when you simply post, and we're back, let's go, on Instagram on January the 29th. This is after the Paris Olympics. I'm sure you were probably at that point getting sick of everybody asking you, are you going ahead to one more games or two more games? Well, who knows? Brisbane, we're not saying it's only one more games, but was that a bit of a relief to be able to sort of have that out there so that people like myself and other journalists could stop asking you the question, are you going again, Lisa, or are you retiring?
Yeah, it is. I guess it was a decision that I wanted to make that was really sound. And being in sport for as long as I had, I was still, I guess I had an inkling. I kind of already knew that I'd keep going. But it was good to just have it out there. Because it does get, I don't like hiding things, not hiding, or not having answers to things that I'm still working through. So absolutely by that point, it was nice to just, that not be a part of when I was speaking to public or just seriously any public, people walking the street, you're going again. So it is nice to just, get
it out there. Because I always find that tricky period, particularly when we get guests on the show not long after an Olympics, where you sort of got that question where it's, unless they're firmly retired, unless they said like, no, this is it, I'm done. And it's sort of, I generally find Olympians don't like being asked that question, whether you're a one-time Olympian or in your case soon to be a five-time Olympian. So is there kind of just always a cooling down period you've always found after every Olympics where it's sort of, you've achieved great things, you've gone to these great games, but you need a moment to reflect and catch up because 4 years is a very busy cycle for an Olympian to reach those goals that you obviously push yourself towards.
Yes, absolutely. And I think there's always, I guess in sport, there's this expectation that, you achieve a medal or you achieve things and then you move on, or sport can't necessarily be a career that you can have longer than, multiple Olympics. I guess there's, especially for women. We don't necessarily stay in sport for as long. So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It is, and I guess it's a question we just get asked often, and I think it does get a little bit tiring to keep answering it, because I don't know if how often the general population or anybody gets asked also when you're finishing your career. And yeah, I guess it's, I think sometimes you're just working through what it means. You do have to, I wouldn't say you give up a lot as an athlete, but you give a lot. So to be prepared, knowing what it takes and be prepared to go at that again, can be daunting, particularly while trying to figure out, how you might do the next cycle. But also our identity is so wrapped up, as much as we don't want to be only an athlete, and we do all these other things, it's really hard to let that part of ourselves go. So, you've got to understand that there's some working through of that.
And I can also imagine too that with each subsequent Olympics that you've gone to, more medals, more attention on yourself, that adds to it, because whereas you come out of London with gold medal, people know who you are. Come out of Paris, you've won 8 gold medals. There's a little bit more attention. And also particularly from a country like New Zealand, who aren't used to having an Olympian with 8 gold medals. So I can imagine that level of attention that brings only adds to all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's something I've learned over time. And I think in London, I was 23. So when you're 23, of course, you're going to keep going. At that point, I knew that I hadn't even reached what I knew I could. So that was really special in that time to think, there's so much, I know there's so much more ahead of me. And then, getting to this point now, there's the expectation that, done all the medals, what else is there? People ask me that all the time, and I'm sure they're going to ask me that one.
I'll scrap that one if you want me to. We'll, cross that one off. Thank you for saving my job a little bit easier, Lisa. Appreciate it.
Yeah, but I think there's always been an element of reassessment and, making it really authentic, the journey, sticking to the main purpose of why I do sport. Every time I've finished an Olympics, it's a really good time to reset, recalibrate, and go forward.
And how have you found then, we're recording this towards the back end of 2025, 9 months into the year, how have you found then this year? Because I believe you're sort of taken a bit of a different approach so far this year and tracking then towards LA, like very early in that cycle, of course, Lisa. It feels weird to be talking about LA when, at least on this show, we've been talking a lot about the Winter Olympics recently. But how have you found 2025 and that pursuit right now of those 5th Olympics?
Yeah, this year has been really different. I intended not to race internationally this year, but I got called in last minute to the World Champs to replace one of our injured athletes. So, which was I have been training to a really good level, so it wasn't like I wasn't out of touch. So it was great to be able to jump back in and kind of turn up for the fun part. And so that was really good. But yeah, it has been interesting. It's been different. It's also, I don't know, in reflection, leading into Paris, there was a lot of pressure and expectation, and to unwind myself from that kind of pressure and that intensity around performance has been a bit challenging, to remember that there's more to life than just turning up to training and doing everything the best I can. Every little thing I do isn't going to impact the performance, which that was how intense I went into Paris, because it was so important to me. So it's been really good, gradually unwinding from that space to allow a little bit more awareness and growth, I think. So the year there's been a lot of differences, allowed for more growth in different areas. And yeah, so I've just got back into some training this week, which has been awesome to start the season. So it's been, this year's been good.
It's good to hear. That's what we want. We want to have all our athletes having good years. On that, I was going to ask this question a little bit later, but you brought it up. And this maybe relates into what you're saying. You're going to ask me that question anyway, but this is, I've never had someone on the show, Lisa, who's won as many gold medals as you. So this is the way I want to ask this, and it might sound weird, but like, given the success that you've had, and you talk pressure, does it get to a point where that pressure just, you are almost doing it for fun? Like, because obviously you are an athlete, you want to achieve, you want to be the best in the world, you want to win races, that never goes away. But does it get to a point where if you left LA without a gold medal, that it's not going to be the same if you had left your first Olympics without a gold medal, if that makes sense, because you've already got all those achievements behind you? That pressure is just so much different now.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's amazing that's something I have, right? Like, that's something I've achieved, and I think you can't ever take that away. So knowing that I have, achieved all those medals is really amazing, and it can potentially free me up from just doing having fun or doing the best job that I can without the expectation. But I kind of also see that the responsibility I have, if I want to turn up to LA and not win a medal, and to feel like I gave it my best shot and I loved the space, loved the time, loved the journey, it kind of has to be about all the little moments leading in. So I don't think it's like, oh, we're just going to kind of train really hard, get to LA, and then just say I don't win a medal. It just really is going to depend on how my journey is that I got there. And so I think that kind of talks to, absolutely, like, no one lines up in a race to come last. You want everyone lining up to win, because those are the kind of people you want to not prove yourself, but you want to perform with people that are good. Like, you want it to be authentic, legitimate, and cross that line knowing that you got the best out of yourself and all the other people you're racing against are doing their best. So I think that, you can't scrape the slate clean of what I've done in the past, but also I don't want to take it into the future relying on the fact that I've already done this. I can free up now. It's actually more about making sure there's a lot of integrity in what I do, and I think that will determine how I feel when I get to LA. If we still have to qualify.
Oh, don't say if, Lisa, you're there. Come on. I've already prepared our graphic for Athlete of the Day when you win the 9th, 10th, 20th gold medal. Come on, let's be honest. But like, it's an interesting point you made that too, because I think also another way to look at it is that every one of your competitors, the more and more you win, that makes them, I'm sure, hungrier to beat you, because then they can say, I beat Lisa Carrington. It's no different to a sprinter going, I beat Michael Phelps, or Usain Bolt, or a swimmer going, Michael, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's sort of that level that's driving them more. So you've got to be driven extra harder too, because all these people are hungrier to beat you more than ever, no doubt.
Yeah, and I think that's, but I guess that's kind of, that's what it is. And I guess I would love to be able to ultimately, crossing, like the idea of crossing the line and winning, you wouldn't want to do it. You just want to do it with people that are doing their best, right? Like, as much, you don't want them to pull a hamstring or, something bad happen to them. So I think just to be, with this in spirit of sport, you want to be racing people that are going to bring the best out of you and the best out of them. What
we're saying is you don't get sick of winning. All right? Simple. Doesn't matter how many you got. You can have 200 gold medals. You just want to keep winning, right? That's just how it is.
Well, yeah. I mean, why? I guess it's like, do it while you can physically and you're able. I think there's so much that we don't do, even when we are capable. So I think for me, I recognise that in sport, it's gone in a flash. And so just trying my best to, doing it while I can.
One thing that, when sort of how we got connected, Lisa, was through an email that I'd received sort of, talking about your career and everything, but it sort of came about you becoming a brand ambassador for a company called Zespri, the world's largest marketer of kiwi fruit. Now, I don't want to sit here and do the PR spin and be that level of it, but to me, I read this and I'm like, isn't this the most obvious marketing thing ever? A New Zealander, like the greatest New Zealand Olympian of all time, coming on board to market the most New Zealand thing that I can think of outside of Lisa Carrington. Like, I mean, like, how was this not a thing, first of all? And what does that mean? What do you do as a global brand ambassador for kiwi fruit? Because to me, kiwi fruit doesn't need selling. It's a great fruit. There it is. But I guess everything's got to be marketed, right? So explain to me what this actually means, Lisa.
Yeah, look, I think, I guess growing up, kiwi fruit is just a part of our lives. I grew up in an area where we're surrounded by kiwi fruit orchards. It's where, a ton of kiwi fruit is grown.
Taronga, right? Beautiful part of the country.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of something like, obviously, like you said, like we're known as kiwi fruit and as Kiwis. And yeah, like it's an incredible partnership. I mean, they're a great company, marketing or, promoting one of the best kind of superfoods out there. So it's just an easy partnership. But also I think what they stand for, being a high performing business and producing an amazing product. You just can't get a better alignment, really.
I was going to say, like, do you get free kiwi fruit? But I mean, if you just grow it, you get it for free anyway. I mean, what are some perks that you get for being a brand ambassador for kiwi fruit?
Kiwi fruit. Yeah, it's good. I mean, obviously.
By the truckload. What's that delivery coming? Oh, here comes the kiwi fruit. Back her up. Here we go. Yep.
Yeah, I get to go home a bit more. I live in Auckland, so I don't live where I grew up, which is nice. And just the connection, to be honest, and the ability, like the global reach of kiwi fruit. Like there's such an awesome, I don't know, like being more than just bigger than New Zealand, I think is really cool because we are so small here. It's nice to be a part of something that is, internationally reaching. So yeah, it's awesome.
Does it get like, I've never asked this to a New Zealander before, but like you're referred to as a Kiwi, but then like, is it confusing because you got kiwi fruit, then you got the bird, but then obviously I just think of a Kiwi as a person from New Zealand. Like it's confusing sometimes, right? There's 3 things you can refer to as a Kiwi.
Yeah, but it's all New Zealand. Like I love it. I think we refer to ourselves as Kiwis. So when you're overseas, that's typically when we talk about, are you a Kiwi? It just rolls off the tongue. I don't even, like you said, I don't even think about the bird or the fruit.
Yeah, true.
When talking about people, but to have that kind of, I don't know, that's us.
It's kind of you, if like, this is the weirdest thing I can think of to compare it to. It's like how we refer to things as chips, whereas like Americans will call it fries and then like potato chips, whereas you're similar to us, I think, like you call fries chips, like hot chips or just potato chips. But you generally, if you say, do you want chips with it, you know what type of chip you're talking about, right? Like
Yeah, but then there's some countries where you get chips, but they're like you are expecting like hot chips, fries, but you get potato chips.
True. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Gee, words are weird, aren't they, Lisa? Gee, didn't think we were going to bring that up. There's a question you might not have been asked before on a show. There we go. I might have ticked that one off.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Before I sort of go over some of your Olympic appearances, one thing I just wanted to ask, we always generally do a question on this show about how you got into your sport, but I believe more so you wanted to be a netballer, if I'm not mistaken, as a kid. You wanted to play for the Silver Ferns. You wanted to be, beating the Aussies in the World Championships and the Commonwealth Games. I mean, how do you go from netball to becoming a kayaker? That's not a general transition I often think about.
No, not at all. And I think I don't know if it's similar in Australia and in New Zealand, netball is a sport that's super accessible for us. So every little town, I grew up in a really small town, so there's always a netball tournament in the local town. Every school has a team. So from the age of 5, that's what I was doing. And my mum was a really keen netballer as well. So, she was the coach, the manager of all my teams growing up. But absolutely. Like it's not a natural transition. But I moved to the beach when I was around 8 years old and I started surf lifesaving. And I guess that's it. You've got a summer sport, surf lifesaving, and my winter sport was netball. These days, kids do like 10 summer sports, 10 winter sports. But back then it was, pretty simple. There probably wasn't a lot available. That's what I did. And with surf lifesaving, there was a kayak like event, which was a surf ski, and that's kind of where it became like a natural transition into kayaking.
Fantastic. I just, you touched on the netball part. I lived in the beautiful town of Invercargill in New Zealand.
Oh,
and
nice.
often
Lucky
the
you.
reaction I get when I say that. But the one thing that I did love about, that sounds a bit mean, one of the many things I loved about living in Invercargill was covering the Southern Steel game. And I will admit that of all the teams that they have down there, that was always the most passionate. They love their netball in Invercargill. And I used to love going to those games because I grew up in a small place in Australia, in Hobart. We didn't really have sort of a big netball team. So I'd never experienced that before. So what you're saying about sort of the smaller places getting behind like netball, like it's, I thought netball was big in Australia, but it was bigger in New Zealand when I was there. Let's just say that.
Yeah, it's definitely really big. I think when they have such a capture, they capture really young age groups because they have the systems and the programs, which is really great because, I mean, sport's such a great thing to do, keep healthy, keep connected to a community. But yes, I have heard that down south in Invercargill, they are very passionate.
Yeah, that's a word. Let's say that. And particularly at that time, the Stags in the rugby were not doing well. I think they'd gone like 4 years without winning a game at that point from memory.
Oh, yeah, so we just shift to the winners.
Yeah, exactly. Well, at that point, the Steel and the Sharks in the basketball were the reigning champions. So it was like they were on board the indoor sports, just the rugby. They were just letting the whole community down, basically. Did you have a moment when you were progressing through kayaking that the Olympics became a dream? Like, had that always been a dream as a young girl? Obviously, netball, not Olympic sport, but maybe through other things. Like, at what point did the Olympics all of a sudden sort of ding a light for you that this is what you wanted to achieve?
Yeah, so when I was quite young, I think growing up in a really sporty house, and I think as a New Zealander, we really promote and support and watch the Olympics. So as I grew up, I remember watching, and my dad said something like, "Oh, wouldn't it be amazing if you went to that?" And I had no idea, and I was like, "That's weird. What?" And for some reason, it stuck in my head. And then I realized, netball's not a Olympic sport. And then as I went through, and then I started surf lifesaving, and I thought, surf lifesaving isn't an Olympic sport. So I was like, oh, maybe it's just not for me. But then obviously got into kayaking, and not until I was about 18, one of the coaches said, he's like, you can go to the Olympics for this.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, wow, that's interesting. This is kind of something that I've always wanted, dreamed of, and just a little seed planted at a young age, but not that I knew that I could do it. But I kind of was like, oh, there's potential here. And I probably didn't really realize that I was good enough to compete at the Olympics or even be able to try until I made the New Zealand team, and we had to come up with some goals. We're like, okay, so what goals are you going to have? Well, I don't know, just try and make the Olympics. And really I look back and I think, man, we had no idea how we were going to do it. We didn't understand the training, like what it was going to take. And so the naivety of that, and then realizing as I just kind of progressed through that I got a little bit better, a little bit more understanding of what it took. And then I was really believing, it's like, wow, this is possible.
Wow. It's always fascinating to kind of hear the mindset of how that goes, because there are some athletes who, as soon as they enter a sport like Olympics, this is what I want to do. Or we also find that there are some who don't even realize the Olympics are a part of it, or some sports that get sort of added later on with that. But it's fascinating to kind of to hear that and how that mindset happens. And I guess that's an age factor too, going back to the whole notion of age and what you're feeling mentally at a certain point. Reflecting on it now, you can think that now and that's the goal. But when you're that young, I guess, it's a very different mindset, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I think, I grew up in a really small town. I'd never come across any Olympian, any national representative. So for me, it was, I remember meeting one of our gold medalists once when I think I was about 10 or 11. And, mum made me get a photo with him.
Get in there. Oh, mum, really?
Yeah. But, that those types of things you just don't really think are possible. So I guess you have no idea what it's going to take. It's not like, if you live in an area where there are really structured, swim programs, and you can kind of see the progression where you might travel through your age and what level you need to be and how fast you need to go when you're 10, 12, and even athletics or that type of thing. So I guess everybody's journey is quite different. And that realization, I think that for me, it's been quite unique to realize as I've gone through, and maybe as well with being the sport that I'm in, it's fairly amateur in New Zealand. So to kind of, I guess as New Zealanders, we have this idea, we call it like the number 8 wire. So we have this attitude where you can do anything, you just have the resources that you've got and you make it happen. So I think with being New Zealanders, being such a young country, when we're treating our journey like an exploration, we're a lot more open to what's ahead of us. We're learning, we're growing, and sometimes that can be an amazing way to kind of pave a way forward without there being anything ahead of you, and you're just ticking the boxes as you go, whereas we kind of had to make them up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The thing that has always made me so fascinated about New Zealand, and just looking at how every athlete in any sport punches above the weight in New Zealand, because as we've said, it's a small country. Like, a lot of Australians, I don't even think realize how small New Zealand is compared to us. It's all well and good for us to take the piss out of you and be like, yeah, we're better. But when we're the size we are and the people we are and the resources we are versus what New Zealand do, I can guarantee if you worked out ratios, you guys are kicking our ass in most of these things. So I think that it's always sort of, it's fascinating with that. But it's also a level too that I was looking into the history of canoeing and kayaking for New Zealand, because I always associated the 3 sports of New Zealand at the Summer Olympics as rowing, sailing, and canoe kayak. But I didn't actually realize until you came about that there was actually only 5 gold, 2 silver, 1 bronze ever won by New Zealand in the sport. And 4 of those gold came at one Olympics. They came in 1984. So if you take those 4 gold out from 1984, you're looking at 1 gold, 2 silver, 1 bronze, which I thought there was so much more success coming from this. So it blows my mind that you've sort of come about and really inflated that medal table there, Lisa. But I mean, have you found that with what you've achieved and what your teammates have achieved as well, that from when you started back in the 2000s to where you are now, that is it still quite amateur, or has the sport exploded a lot more? And the future for canoeing and kayaking in New Zealand is looking incredibly bright when you eventually do hang up the oar one day.
Yeah, I guess what you'll find is that, sports will ebb and flow depending on who is around, those athletes, that it's around the talent. And so I think that what we are trying to do is kind of capture as many people as we can and create more opportunity for more people. So I think at this stage, what's awesome is that we have so much like IP around what it takes to paddle really well, to be in a team boat. So there is a lot of knowledge on what it's going to take. And so that, to me, really gives a lot to the future. So I think that our future is looking bright. We've got some amazing young paddlers coming through. But as you know, like for sport, it's tough. And, there's only one person that crosses the line first. So I think that as much as we might have talent coming through, we've just got to, it's really up to the individual whether they can do it.
Yeah.
But absolutely, I think it is bright. And people, as long, I've been in the sport, people also need to find their own way. Like my way of how I have achieved things isn't the only blueprint on how to do it. Whilst there's probably overlap and skill and characteristics or, ethic or whatever it's going to be, ultimately when I hang up my paddle, it's also going to be up to those individuals to be able to do it.
And they've got to get lots of kiwi fruit, basically. That's,
yeah, because it is nutrient dense.
Exactly.
And help.
Going to keep the sponsors happy. Keep that out there. Lisa, we'll do a couple of plugs. And let's be honest too, you don't need to purely rely on yourself and the sport at the Olympics, because New Zealand are kicking ass right now, both summer and winter as well. Can I just point that out?
Yeah.
I mean, 10 gold in Paris, New Zealand got a record, just insane. And here we are, little old Australia, liking to make fun of you guys every second we have. But, you're winning basically 10 gold now, so we've got to maybe watch our backs a little bit more for our neighbours rather than taking the piss out of you all the time.
Hey, I think though a little healthy competition is what makes us better. So it's kind of good. Like we like to think we're the underdogs. So you don't see us coming.
Yeah, exactly. You won more gold than us in the last Winter Olympics, so we're a bit worried coming up for the next one.
Yeah, how much snow does Australia have?
Yeah, we have some, but you do get a bit more. But so maybe does that mean you've been underachieving too long in the Winter Olympics and we've been overachieving? I don't know. Maybe it's just balancing out after all these years. Lisa, just going back to your first Olympics in London, we always like to get the little things like village life and uniform, like those little moments that you'll get that you're so used to now. Obviously, haven't been to 4 Olympics, but do you remember the first Olympics? Do you remember like the first time you get the uniform, the first time you're in the village, all these little moments? And was there a moment that kind of it hit you that I'm an Olympian now? This is I've achieved this goal.
Yeah, I do remember walking we stayed in London, we stayed in a satellite village because our racing venue was about 2 hours away from London. So I remember walking into it was a university hall and walking into our room and seeing my Olympic bag there. And it was so special to kind of open it. And I remember we just doing, looking through everything, doing little parades around in the uniform that we liked. Absolutely. It was so special, I think. And also, I guess I have fond memories of that, of just no expectation and turning up and being surprised by everything. And not experienced it before. So I want to hold on to that, and we want to live life a bit like that too. And yeah, it was really special, and to be there to realize that, wow, there's literally, compared to a world championships, we basically cut down how many people are at the, in our event. There's only a quarter of us there.
Wow. And
so really you're there and you're like, everybody here is world class. Everyone is amazing. So that feeling that you have to be at your best because everyone here is good, So I think that was, the cream's all there. The cream's risen to the top and it's at the Olympics. So it was really amazing to kind of be a part of it and, go to the buffet and see there's every type of food, from all around the world.
Yeah. So and McDonald's was still back then, because Rio was the last McDonald's Olympics, wasn't it? So you still got to experience a couple of McDonald's at the Olympics too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It was, there was a chicken nugget competition.
Yeah, I hear about this a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was some of the big rigs, like the big guys, like the rowers and things that could really embrace that. And I think when you're 6 foot something,
you didn't give it a crack at least. Did you at least try? See how many you could get?
No. I mean, I did order a lot. I remember at my first Olympics, but it was so strange to turn up and be like, can I just get anything?
Yeah. You don't have to pay for this.
How much can I get all of this? So there's this weird element, and then going to a vending machine and having a little tag, and you can get as many Powerades, Cokes, as you want.
Jeez. Wow. Which I just love, this sort of the stories around that too. And then things like pin trading, is this something that you've become down pat after 4 Olympics now? Do you have a process? Or, okay, day 1 we're doing this, day 2 I need the one from Azerbaijan tomorrow. If I don't get the North Korean one this week, I'm not getting it all. Right, spread out. Is it a process now?
Well, I'm terrible at getting them, but every time someone asks me, I'm like, okay, we have to swap though.
Yeah.
But really what ends up happening is actually you give them to all the volunteers.
Yeah.
So, our Olympic committee, you get a big bag of pins, and I think when people were there on their own time, on their own back, you're like, actually, and it's pretty cool to be able to give someone a cool little New Zealand pin.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
the smile on their face, because they're the ones wearing them all on their lanyards and
They are proud
doing that. You do get to a point though after a certain amount of days that you kind of do get sick of getting asked that question though, right? Like, got any pins? Like, oh god, here we go. Like, gives you nightmares for a few days after an Olympics.
I'm just going in for my final now. Do you mind?
Yeah.
I can't find a pin in my bag.
Yeah. It'd be a bit awkward if you're lining up on the start line. Excuse me, do you have a pin? Like, just talk to me after the medal ceremony, all right? Going that way. Just going over though, the events, obviously 8 gold, 1 bronze. The one that I wanted to touch on, the K1 200 that you win in London, you win in Rio, you win in Tokyo, then ultimately doesn't happen in Paris. And I kind of almost feel guilty as an Australian that pretty much the reason why it got cut was because they wanted the canoe slalom cross that, a certain Fox family pushed and were advocates for it. And I know.
Dominate.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, how like, I realized there was a whole controversy around that. I believe New Zealand tried to protest this and everything along those lines. I mean, this is an event that you have dominated. This is your pet event. Like, how is that to take? Even though you've still got other events that you're good at, but like this is it. This is your pet event. Like how hard was that to kind of take that was no longer the Olympics?
Yeah, I mean, it was really frustrating because it's not like I asked for it to be taken out. And, I guess you'd hope that as a community you would be consulted on. So, yeah, I mean, very political reasons why that was taken out and why, canoe slalom got the cross.
Yeah,
canoe cross?
Slalom. I don't know. I think it's just called slalom cross.
We'll go slalom cross.
The Naomi Fox event that she won gold for people at home. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the silver lining is that we had Finn Butcher who from New Zealand won. So I think it's like we tried to get another gold medal.
You gave one to Australia, but
it is tough because the 200 has given me a lot. It's a event that allowed me to be as successful as I am, and also gave me a lot of skill that has really helped me in the K1 500 as well. And it's a fun event. It's fast, it's exciting. So absolutely, it's disappointing that it's not the Olympics anymore.
Does it then? The one that you obviously then add, basically, I mean, I know you did the K4 in Tokyo, but does that almost, are you able to use the resources? You're obviously still competing in the 200 outside of the Olympics, but does that help you in a way that go from 4th in Tokyo to then getting the gold in Paris because you're able to put a bit more resourceful and your teammates are in that boat going, yes, all right, we're glad that the 200's not in the Olympics anymore because we get the gold medal out of this.
Yeah, I mean, that's also a spin and opportunity is that because the 200 isn't there, there's not as much focus, or just spread over 4 events. You can go down to 3. So yeah, I think that that's how we did spin it. That's whilst the 200 is still really important, and the skills that it requires to do a 200 are still the skills that I will require to do the 500. So. It doesn't mean that I'm any slower in the 200. It's just that we don't get to compete in it. And so, yeah, it was great. I mean, amazing to still go to the, go to Paris and come away with, 3 out of 3. Whereas in Tokyo, I got 3 golds, but I went for 4 events. So, I think that we also had a really unique we managed to work out what it took to be in the K4. So whilst the 200, the racing wasn't there, I think we would have still always worked it out for the K4.
Basically, we're robbed of a 4th gold medal at the end of the day. Let's just say that. But I mean, it's also a different experience to win with 3 other women in the boat. Like you've done it by yourself, you've done it with someone else, but to have basically a team. It is a team. And in a sport which is so often individual, that is an added experience, no doubt.
Absolutely. And that was what we drew on as for our performance was being a team. And so what we learned is that when you can work together and create a really strong vision, purpose, values, there's like this extra person that gets put in your boat. So it's like it's hard to explain, but it's like this extra state of flow. And when you've got 4 people doing that, we manage to just squeeze out every little bit of ourselves. And I think that's how we approached it. We approached it on getting the best out of each other. And that was the most important thing, that everyone could do their best all at the same time. But also while taking on all 3 events as a team. So the 4, obviously, the 2 and the 1, just recognizing that even for me, I making it feel like the K1 is a team event.
Which then in the future, this might be the dumbest question I've ever asked to somebody from canoe kayak, Lisa, but is there an 8? I'm comparing it to rowing. Can we create an 8 if there's not an 8? Because then I'm just saying, like, can we have a 1, a 2, a 4, an 8, and then you can just tick them all off?
That would be really hard.
Yeah. I can't think that's
easy. It would be a really
easy.
long boat.
Yeah, it would be. But fun. That'd be bloody epic to watch, right? Maybe Brisbane 2032, we can like start this and we, 7 years to get this done.
You know what? We can get someone to make one and we'll see how it goes.
Why not? And then we can cut the cross out, all right? The Foxes are winning too many gold medals, all right? Come on now.
Exactly. You Australians are getting all your medals through the Fox family.
I know, right? What is with that? We're winning them in too many in that one. We can't win the gold anymore in the sprint. We're just relying on the damn slalom. That comes on that way. I got to take this moment to give you a bit of a big head, Lisa, because I just want to go over some of these achievements which just blow my mind. Because NBC did a great little article sort of after you announced that you were going towards LA about some of the things you've achieved and some of the things you could achieve. You win gold in LA, 5th individual gold, 5th consecutive Olympics. You would join only 2 other athletes to ever have done that Olympic history, Irene Wust, Dutch speed skater, and Cuban wrestler Milian Lopez. Katie Ledecky can also achieve that in LA. You can also go for 10 gold medals, individual gold medals. Michael Phelps, the only Olympian to win more than 10 or more gold medals, of course. Other Olympians can do that across the way in LA as well. But I went further with some other facts here because you're 8 Olympic gold medals. You have won more gold medals as a human being than the countries of Portugal, Pakistan, and Nigeria. And to put that into perspective, Lisa, Pakistan is a country of 241 million people, and you have won more Olympic gold medals than they have in their entire history. If you were a country, you would be 65th overall on the medal table. I mean, like, that's just ridiculous. I'm sure you've been told that before, Lisa, but that's just like, how do you even compute that you would be 65th on the overall medal table at all, as if you were Lisa Carrington, the country?
Yeah, I mean, it is funny to kind of have those stats or that type of thing. But I don't know, like when you're in it, you can't. I think if you get too caught up on statistics or what it could be, I don't know. It just takes away from what you're trying to do. It
doesn't drive you. Let's say that.
That's
pushing
it.
Going for a 5th, like 10, like that's not why you're doing it. You're not doing this to. Or are you? I don't know. Maybe you are. Like, I mean, you have won as many Olympic gold medals as Usain Bolt. Let's put it that way, right? Like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, it is nuts to think that, and particularly, that's definitely not what I don't know if anyone sets out to kind of win this much or have this many gold medals. But I guess it kind of more so talks to like that a gold medal doesn't necessarily have to determine how much growth and learning and you can have over the time. And I guess with performance, with doing as well as I have, I've been able to maintain that level because I have had the resource and support. So, it's a catch-22. I don't do it for the medals, but yet you do and you don't. And I think I definitely recognize I'm in a really privileged position where I get to do what I love and try to get better all the time.
A good friend of ours on the show, Joanna Griggs, Australian broadcaster, she recently came on, we talked about the Sydney Olympics, and she made a very good point about a question that she would sometimes ask some of the guests that she would interview. It's that, so people are caught up on the gold medals and the success and things like that and those sort of awards, but often an athlete will have a race that maybe isn't an Olympic gold or an award that isn't an Olympic medal or something like that is their favourite because it's got a personal meaning or something along those lines. Do you have that, Lisa? Do you have like in your entire career, like an absolute standout moment, be it because you overcame something, because it meant something more, like, and might not necessarily be an Olympic gold medal along the way?
Yeah, I think it's hard to go past the Paris Olympics. I think for me, like I've always wanted to perform my best when it counted. And, sometimes I would train so hard that, maybe I'd only get a 98% performance out of myself because, there's nerves, there's all these things that kind of will impact. So sometimes I would do like a really good performance, but I knew there was more there. And so there was also that search for being able to do my absolute 100% when it counted. And so I think for me, there was versions of that through the Paris Olympics. And so with the K1 500, winning that race in Paris, it was for me, I knew that I could do it. I was in my best form I'd ever been in, even better than I needed to be. But I knew that what it was going to take, if I had all these elements of a really good start, a max speed, a running speed, technique, but to do them all when it counted was down to skill and just being super present. So for me, that race in Paris was a true expression of that. And also to line up and think, this is so cool, and not be in a space of complete fear. I think I remember pushing off the jetty for the warm-up for this race and just thinking, man, I'm not as nervous as I don't know if I'm nervous enough. And I think it was more the fact that my preparation had been really good. I'd really just decided to trust myself because the preparation had been really good. We'd done a lot of time trials, a lot of practice, so I could trust that when I focused on one particular thing, the race would unfold. So for me, it was amazing to do that race the way that I wanted to and not be distracted by I don't know, when you're in those high pressure situations, there's little things that put you off. You're like, oh, that person gave me a funny look. So, that you get really distracted by things that don't matter.
Yeah.
And so for me, I was able just to stay really my focus and attention on what did matter for that moment, and also just crossing that finish line and just feeling really satisfied with that performance, that race. And then at that point, we'd won the K2. We'd also won the K4. And for me, it was like, wow, we just won every race we said we would. And so that moment to me was like, oh my gosh, we did it. And I think it was just insane to kind of, then I went to the jetty. You don't have to warm down. It's my last race of the year, of the cycle.
Bring the nugs. Come on. Go.
And then to go to the jetty, you've got to do a boat way and that type of thing. And my teammates just be there and them just running at me, tears down their face. And I was like, wow, I can't believe that we just did this as a crew. And
wow.
I know those moments, it's the feelings, those memories that are so important because you just know in that moment that it will never be like that again, which is, it's not a bad thing, but just to recognize that, wow, this is really special.
A great story. I love hearing it that way. And also the way I interpret that is if you're on the start line in LA and just smiling and beaming and feeling that good, all your other competitors next to you should be shitting themselves basically because they know that it's on. Yeah, you're in the perfect zone, no distraction. You're going that way. Lisa, we wrap up with a set of fun 10 questions. But before I get to those, two really quick things I need to ask. We have to ask this to all of our Olympic medalists on this show, and I'm very intrigued about the answer for this one. What do you do with your medals? Because you've got a few, so I can imagine, is it a case of just, you borrow one, you have one, you do this? What do you do with them?
Yeah, currently I think I have one in my side table,
okay.
Which I was worried that I'd lost it, but realized that it was in a sock because I don't. And then I saw it, I was like, oh, it's there. So there's one in my side table.
Okay.
The rest are in a little box in my cupboard. And then my one is sitting on my coach's, I think it's at his place. So he, just from Paris, he gets to have that cool memory because he's been through it all with me and, with us as a team. They don't get any like.
Yeah, they should.
Anything.
It's wrong that coaches don't get the one. Do you have like, in terms of when I say a favorite one, not necessarily from a race, but like of the 4 Olympics you've been to, favorite design of the 4 that you've won?
You know what? I think Paris is pretty special. It's got beautiful grooves. But I also love the simplicity of my London medal.
They're nice
medals. It's kind of the first medal that they went really big.
Yeah.
So prior to that, they were kind of normal size.
Yeah.
And now these medals are quite big, and they all weigh like 500 grams, which is like a block of butter.
Yeah.
So, I think that I do love the simplicity of my London medal as well.
And the purple ribbon really pops.
Yeah.
I feel. I love I'm such a geek when it comes to the styling of like a ribbon. Like I'm critical of the Milan Cortina Olympics because I just think they're so basic. I'm like, come on, it's Italy, it's Milan, there should be fashion going on, right? Whereas like to me, like what sells the medal is when they started doing the really stylized ribbons like around 94. Like, they were so basic before then. So
then when people are wearing them and just say like when you see other, likes of Michael Phelps and you can see all the different ribbons, you're like, okay, I can see the Olympics.
Have you done that, or have you been asked to do a photo? Like there's that epic photo once he retired where he's got them all on his arms, like
his massive arm span.
Yeah, have you done, or are you waiting till you retire to like be on the the front page of like the New Zealand Herald with all these on your arms and have that sort of photo? Yeah, over.
I haven't. Oh, have I? I might have done one, but it wasn't an official photo. Yeah,
we look forward to that.
It is pretty cool to have them all lined up. It's like, wow. To be honest, every time I get them out, I realize I'm like, wow, I've got one of those because I don't have them displayed.
One. Come on. We had Penny Alexiak on, who's Canada's most decorated Olympian. And it's just, I love just kind of just almost the blasé nature of it. They're just here, they're just there. Because, here I am, this Olympic geek. If I just even had a participation certificate, I'd be carrying it with me all the time. And we promise we're not doing this to have people rob your house. We're not trying to scope out where the medals are to give people a map out. So if this happens after this interview, you can sue me, please.
Okay,
sue me. The other one I got to ask, which adds extra sadness to the fact that my co-host didn't join me today, because his name is Colin, and you've got a very special Colin in your life. Colin the Caboodle. Tell us about Colin, because Colin's a cute dog, and I love looking at Colin all the time.
Yeah, Colin is my little dog, and he, he's that spoiled, overloved. He doesn't know how lucky he is. And he's actually, he's heard his name, and he's
coming. He's going to give an appearance. Oh.
And so, Colin,
come on, Colin.
Here he is.
There's one Colin can show up today. This is what other Colin's missing out on right now.
It's so funny. He heard his name.
Oh, there we go. Hello, Colin. Oh, Colin's gorgeous.
Yeah. So he was lucky enough to get a calendar.
Oh.
So he has a 2026 calendar coming out.
Wow. So like the Colin Carrington like special edition you can buy from like the warehouse or something like that, right?
It's just online
right,
at the moment.
Okay.
But it's
coming soon to bigger stores.
Coming soon. It's called a colander.
Hey, that's clever. Colin.
But you'd like to know that it's all for charity, and it's for Save. So we have a charity in New Zealand which I support. It's called Save the Kiwi.
Great.
So it's all about our Kiwi bird.
The bird, yes, to clarify what we're saying. Not the fruit, not the people, the bird, yes.
So he's looking up for them.
Oh, great. Well, send us a link. We'll link people out. People can pick that up because they definitely want a colander. I like that.
Yeah.
There you go. We'll pass on our regards to our other Colin who didn't show up today. Lisa said we wrap up 10 get to know you fun style questions. Hopefully there's one or two in here that you've never answered. I'm going to start with the first one. What is the one thing that you never leave home without when traveling to a competition?
You can't. My sunglasses.
Sunglasses, yes. That works. Do you have a special one? Are you sponsored? Plug out to Oakley's or whoever you're sponsored by.
I always, when I'm just when I race in the K1, I wear a red pair of Oakley's.
So okay, good. I got that right.
Yeah, you're right. It is the best sportswear, pair of glasses. Yeah, eyewear.
Good. All right. Oakley, you're awesome. A tradition or superstition you follow before every big competition?
I like to have my nails painted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any like, is it a sort of different style, different race, or is it any particular style you go for?
I love to have them red. You might have noticed a theme there.
Red. Okay. Yep. Keep going along that way. A song that is on every one of your pre-competition playlists, no matter what.
Or it has to be like Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Team Kendrick then, so I don't bring up Drake at this point, essentially. I'm
just on the sidelines for that.
Okay, all right, good. Yeah, I feel that's almost the 11th question we've sort of added recently, but I'm too old for that, Lisa. I don't get it. The most unexpected or funny direct message you have ever gotten as an Olympian?
Oh, I don't know. I often get pictures of little girls, or actually even just anybody dressed up as me to school days or fancy dress parties.
How do you react to that? Like, the first one's probably cool, but then when you get like 200, like, hey, that's kind of shit, little Jenny, but you tried. You don't want to be too honest, I'm sure. Be like, oh, how cute's that?
But it's good. People go all out. We traditionally wear like braids, so like French plaits, and we're obviously in black. Some people create boxes that look like kayaks.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, you made it, I think, when people are dressing up on you. I mean, we saw that with ray gun people going for it as Halloween, right? So, I mean, have people got, like, I know Halloween's not huge in New Zealand. It's kind of like here in Australia, but the Halloween costumes, is it translated outside of New Zealand, like someone in America? Hey, I've got as Lisa Carrington for Halloween.
Yeah, no, you're right. I have. I've had one or two people little children dressing up as me for their Halloween.
Crazy. You've made it. You've
scary?
made it when you do that. I mean, I was going to say you've made it when you've had a street named after you, because you've had a street named after you. But I mean, when people are dressing up as you, so, do you get perks on that street? Can you rock up to any place on that street and just be like, that's my house now, it's my street?
Well, yeah, the street is, it was the only little road that wasn't named.
And they're just sitting around going, shit, what do we call it? Oh, who's that Olympian that's won all those medals? Go with her.
No, it's a little street. It's not necessarily at the surf club is at the end of that street. So
you own the surf club now.
Surf club, basically.
Yeah, it's yours. You get a street
membership, maybe.
Yeah, I'm assuming you get a street named after you. Everything on that street's yours. It's just, you're right. It's law, and you're a dame too. There's got to be perks. Try it out. Try it out one day. The weirdest thing you've ever eaten at an international competition, and did you like it?
The weirdest thing I think was, I remember like when I was a bit younger, turning up and eating fried camembert and thinking, I know it's not super weird, but when you're racing and you're like, oh, that looks like chicken. And then you cut into it, you're like, okay, we've just got fried cheese here.
Yeah.
Here we go.
That's a lot of cheese to get through when you do chicken. Cheese. Wow. I like that. That's a good answer. That's a good way of putting it. On the topic of food, though, what is your guilty pleasure meal after a big competition?
Oh, it would have to be like, I don't know, just having like fried food. So, and, a nice drink, fried food, and just, it's just kind of that moment. It actually relaxes me. And I think because that's something probably I do when I reward myself or know that I've just done something that, has required a lot of energy. So I'm like, you know what? We're getting fried chips. We're getting calamari. We're getting
going all out. You know, people know what you're doing when you're eating your fried food, basically. As long as it's not the fried camembert, you go for that sort of thing. Yeah. If you could swap sports for a day with another Olympian, what would you choose, and how do you think you'd fare?
Oh, I would love to do like a pure team sport. So I think it would be something like rugby. Sevens. Although I don't know how I would go at being tackled.
Yeah,
I think I would break. Or cry. Yeah, well, because I'm sure it will hurt.
Yeah, that's a good point. I was going to say you and like Ruby Tui could do some sort of swapping there. But,
I'm sure she would. It would be a lot. I'm sure she wouldn't mind taking me through the paces of rugby.
Yeah. No, I will say the one I did see a New Zealand gold in person in Paris, and I was at the stadium when the rugby sevens team won the gold. And I have to say living in New Zealand, I loved every time I saw a haka, but to see what they did on the Stade de France after they won that gold, and that was pretty cool. The crowd loved it. Yeah,
no, they're an incredible representation of we're just so proud that they represent us.
Mm-hmm.
They're such strong women. Absolutely, they're a huge inspiration, those girls.
Got to say, still not over the fact that Australia lost the bronze to America, but we won't touch on that. That's fine.
I wasn't going to say anything.
No, you could have. It's fine. You're in New Zealand. We get it. You got to dig it in when you can. I love this one because I get a bit of help from ChatGPT for this one. If your Olympic journey were a movie, Lisa, what would the title be, and who would play you?
Oh wow. I think it would be something like The Illusion of the Gold Medal.
The Illusion of the Gold Medal. Okay.
Yeah,
I like that.
Because people think it's all about the gold medals.
Yeah.
Who would play me? Maybe like a New Zealand actress. Like we have, I don't know if you have watched The Whale Rider, but we have Keisha Castle Hughes.
Yep.
She's an actress.
Yeah.
And
ChatGPT suggested her, funnily enough, so on the same page. We watched that in school, and I also remember she was in one of the Star Wars prequels. I think she was.
Yes, that's right.
Was she like Padme's sister or something?
You know what? I'm not very clued up on Star Wars. I'm sorry, I can't join.
I won't bring that up much that way. One thing that we do though, and I will get this title changed because the title ChatGPT gives very bland titles. So I went with Unstoppable, the Lisa Carrington story. Not that original, but we like to get them to generate a poster. And for our audio listeners, go to our video version right now. So let's hold this up right now here. So this is what they've generated for Unstoppable, the Lisa Carrington story. A lot of Kiwis in the water there. They might get wet, and I'm not sure if those gold medals are staying afloat. But
we've not quite got the paddle right, but that's okay.
No, that's a canoe, isn't it? Not a kayak.
Good try.
Yeah, but they tried. You know, they got the New Zealand flag right. Let's be honest, they didn't put an Australian flag.
It's not Australian.
That could have been offensive. Yeah, and they've got 2 little gold medals. They've only got 5 there. They're underselling you. Unstoppable, ChatGPT. Come on, you're selling us short there. The last 2, and these are 2 of my favourites, because the first one here, I get scared that you're going to shit on me for what I've done in the last hour. The one question you're tired of being asked, and what is the one that you wish people would ask you instead?
The one question I'm tired of being asked, I don't know, it might be maybe this just shows that I need to come up with better answers. It's like, what keeps driving you to continue after all you're done? I probably don't, I would get that every time, but I probably need to come up with some good answers for that one, like different ones. And what would I like to be asked? I don't know. I haven't actually thought about that. Actually one I kind of often get asked that as it gets a little bit annoying, it's like, what do you eat in the day?
What do you eat in the Okay. Is that just the training side of things? People are just
People are really interested. But maybe, I don't know. I'll come back to you.
You come back to me. We know the correct answer of what you eat all day is kiwi fruit by now from your local vendors and base of kiwi fruit right now. Last one for you, Lisa. The one lesson you've learnt from losing that has shaped you more than winning.
One lesson I've learnt from losing.
Not that you do it much, but I'm just,
would be that it doesn't determine your next step. The loss doesn't mean you're going to continue on that trajectory. It's more about how you can keep reframing to keep striving. And believing in yourself. Actually just not, believing more so in you and not needing the external kind of validation of winning or to do that.
That's why we always end with that one, because it just feels like it brings a nice little bookend on it and and close it off. So that's perfect. Lisa, absolute honor to have you on here and learn about your incredible stories and journey. There's so many more, obviously, that could be covered, but we appreciate your time. If people want to follow your journey between now and LA, social media, where can they go to, and where can they buy the the colander as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, social media, Instagram, just, search for my name. And that's where you'll find anything that's going on. And in my bio, you'll find links to the calendar, and lots of little other tidbits there too.
We're going to keep an eye on everything between now, then, and beyond. And let's not just stop at LA. You've got a sort of home Olympics. Like, it's next door. There are so many Kiwis in Brisbane in 20. Like, come on, they're all on the Gold Coast and Brisbane. So you got to keep going to 2032. Lisa, it's an honor to have you on the show, and best of luck with everything moving forward.
Yeah, thank you so much.